June 5th, 1984. This is Joe Todd, and interview with Mr. J.D. Schlichting, Schlichting, in Korn, Oklahoma.
Birth or anything, ancestors, get them now.
Yeah.
That's
Get 'em
what we're
now.
doing.
Oh, yeah. And you have to speak to a girl like that. Hey, she
Sir, where were you born?
Katarina Sladny Hubadin.
And where is that?
That is in Russia.
In Russia.
It must be in the neighborhood of Halbstadt, Russia. It's more than northern.
And when's your birthday?
But
When's your birthday?
on the 29th of September, yeah, I was born the 29th of September, 1891.
1891.
Go fishing together.
Right. Who is your father?
Martin F. Schlichting.
And your mother?
Elizabeth Renz.
Were they both?
No, they come from Odessa. Mother comes from Odessa, and Papa from Halbstadt. It's quite a ways apart, but
What?
his father being a colporteur, you know what that is?
A what?
A colporteur,
No, sir.
religious book salesman. He worked for the British and Foreign Bible Association for a long time. And he sent them into localities where nobody had ever been with the Bible. They didn't know what the Bible was. For instance, one occasion, he got in there and found some of those men, and he talked to them, and over the Bible, well, they bought that. But the foreman, my brother told me this, he panned him up for the night. Didn't hurt him, but solitary confinement. The morning, turned him loose. Didn't hurt him. So after about a month or 6 weeks, he came back again. Father, we wanted to see what the results was. Selling them testaments. I gave them 7 like it. And during this time, these people read the testament and got saved. Not saved, make it in short. And then when he came back, this foreman, say, you still have some of those books? When they read them, they quit drinking and doing dependable work? Well, yeah, Dad says, I still have some of them books. The Testament and the Bibles.
Mm-hmm.
He sold them to me.
Was that in Hauptstadt?
No, that was in Russia. I don't know just where that was in Russia. He traveled crisscross Russia. He knew what the underground was at that time. He said, I'm getting out of here. Some of them called him crazy.
Yeah.
And you know, only one of his brothers ever got out again, and that was after World War I. And then they had to go to Canada, not over here. Because he was a good man, they had to send him to Canada. Or he was a good man.
Did you know your grandparents in Russia?
Huh?
Did you know your grandparents in
No, I
Russia?
did not. I just know of what they told me. Now, Mama's uncle, not Mama's brother. What was his name? Yeah, that's just too bad. He was Tsar's bodyguard for a long time. Tsar's bodyguard.
Did your parents ever talk about the Tsar
And
much?
he was 7 foot tall. But an honest man, that's what he was. Else he'd have been in there.
Yeah. What was his name?
George
George Rentz?
Renz.
Did your parents talk about the Tsar much?
Huh?
Did your parents talk about the Tsar very much?
No, but except some occasion, Mother told us, later years, because he's older than Mother. And it was just that they wanted to kill the Czar. And he couldn't get to him. He had a good man there. And then, that all goes on there?
Yeah.
Huh. As somebody must have doped a whole bunch, sleeping stuff. Because they was upstairs, you know, and there was about a stairway up going up there. And one of them just tried running in when you come up, and the other still were single there. And everyone went to sleep. I mean, went to sleep. And so deadly that this man, by the stairway, his gun even slipped out of his arms. They held in their guns were, oh, shoot. And wind cleared down along the stairway. But he was down like lightning. Pick up that gun and just stood in position, all of them. And the door opened. The guard inspector looked in. Yeah, they're all right. Looked in, closed the door and went. But it was going to be sure death for everyone if they'd caught him asleep. But somebody tried to do it because everybody go to sleep. That is unusual.
When was that? When did that happen?
And, that was I don't know. That is before we came out of there. That was all before that. But they still living there.
Yeah. Why did your parents leave Russia?
Huh?
Why did your parents leave Russia?
They saw the unrest that broke out later, while there was no dummy, and against the religious group, they fought so hard. They had to go to Moscow, you know, to get the permit, Moscow, to start a church.
You ever go to Moscow?
I know. I hadn't been there.
Yeah.
I've seen the fire of Moscow. Yeah, and there's quite a. I heard my great-grandfather was in that group from Swiss, Germany. Great-grandfather.
Your great-grandfather?
My great-grandfather.
What was his name?
Yeah, that I don't know.
Okay.
John or Martin or something like that. I don't know. We could call him John because he mostly followed up. Grandpa's name was John. That is my grandfather. And you like to hear that story?
Yeah.
All right. He had Napoleon, from what they said, had practically all conquered, except for Russia. That is the big countries, except the big countries. Russia was the big country. So all right. Then they marched in, and now that's again. Why didn't I ask what the name of that river was? That was a very big river and deep river. And must have been close to Moscow, coming by that land there. When they're in here, well, they were safe. And there was a bridge across that river, and they crossed it one afternoon. They knew they were coming, but to get the civilians out, that was very sweet. I said that there must have been some German officers in there. Well, of course, they took everything at that time, just like my brothers, they wanted that too. They wasn't quite open up. And not a shot was fired when a big army come in. Not a shot was fired, and the civilians was out. The army stayed. And then they gave them all what they wanted to eat. Everything was there. They ate and drank and whiskey and wine and beer and what have you not to know. They had a wonderful time. They thought they had a capture. But the secret order was given. 12 o'clock sharp. You set fire where you at. And you set fire where you at, and everyone like that. And at 12 o'clock, the whole town was aflame. And then they rushed for this bridge to get back on the other country. And then those that got the first down there, Well, they got across, and as they pushed, yeah, and then the cavalry stepped up, says, no defense, resist. But then, well, on horseback, and there were sabers, chopping from behind. Well, they wanted to get out, and anybody save his life. And they got to that bridge, and finally put on so much on the bridge broke down. Now comes this terrible scene. And from behind, they was pushing, and they pushed him right into this water, in this river, a big river. And my mother and my Uncle Jake Rents, he got over later, brother to this Lord. They walked over a human body packed in that river bed. What could get over? Just think of that. A bridge of human bodies. Well, all right, you got across, but what did he have to eat? Nothing. Mother said they dug up the old carcasses that they had buried, like the bones. Of course, they didn't spoil it was winter as they going in. And they cooked that soup out of them bones and what's on there in order to get a little strength out of it. And then in the camp, in the fires, around the campfires, they didn't have enough wood, and it's so terrible cold there in the north. They all sat froze to death. That's why he let them up. Well, how my grandfather really got across, I don't know, but he got across whether he was a worse or less, but he got across, but he suffered so much that he died, and he was about 35 years or something like that when he died, but he had 3 boys anyway. Mm-hmm. All right? And then my father said, in 1848, they already was over and had married, grandfather though. In 1848, they left Prussia and went to Russia, where they could have land, where they could work and make a better living.
Where'd they leave?
1848, they left Prussia.
Prussia. Okay.
Prussia, that's where their home was.
Right.
That was part of Germany. Now, in this last war, they give Poland a part of that way. And so then that's where Father was born, and later where we were born. I was about 2.5 years when they left there. 2.5 going on 3, something like that. Mm-hmm. But I never knew either of the grandparents.
Did your father serve in the Russian army?
Huh?
Did your father serve in the Russian army?
No, he didn't. Just how come, I don't know, but he was, well, he must have been many years in this culvert here work. Because he told us one time he came to a practice with the military place where they're trying to sell them Bibles. I would give them Christian literature yet. And he looked how they was running and jumping. So he asked the captain there, "Hey, you mind if I run and jump here too?" "No, go ahead," he said. I was just a civilian, but he does so much walking. He walked, I think, as much as 40 versts, that's 3/4 of a mile apiece, you know, and carrying a big satchel of books. He was strong. And he done better than these military boys did there, soldiers did. And then this officer says, "Step back." See, it was a disgrace on him. He didn't have his men better trained than that. The civilian come in there and outdo him. Mm-hmm. Well, step back. All right, you had to step back. Mm-hmm. And so that's then in 1891, when Jimmy got ready and got out of here. Oh, we had, well, 2 of the boys was close to military age. And it took delay there with the passports, and here a delay, another delay, and which caused the ship that we were to take had left. And 2 days on the water. Storm here, a spring storm in April it was, and went down with everything, in and on.
What was the name of the ship?
That I wouldn't know. I'm sorry I didn't know the ship name that we crossed on. By the way, just something struck me. I'm just writing to one of Uncle Jake's daughters, and I want to ask her whether she know the name of the ship. And then, but what? Then we had to wait 10 days. The next ship came, and it held out. It had us for 3 days, such a terrible storm. They just laid around there puking, those people. And this fellow named Russell, I don't know, these people they were best, they would know. He came across, he came and asked Dad whether he could go in a bunch with our boy had have room for one more in a canoe. So they permitted him. And he wasn't sick, he was on a ship before. And I wasn't sick, so he took care of me.
Yeah.
Well, now I know of that trip on the side, we must have been on deck. The water house was rolling, I said, whoa, it's rolling beside the ship. And then another day, we come out of our cabin, I guess, past the kitchen, and then the cook come out, big husky fella, white apron on, giving me a nice orange. That's all I know about ship trip. Then we came to Hastings, Nebraska.
What port did you leave Europe from? Where did you get on board?
England.
England. And where'd you land?
In Canada. My goodness, we in that other corner. Wait a minute, let's get the name. Tell me, call up those names. I'll catch it.
Well, was it up in Nova Scotia or?
No, not quite that. But it's way up in there.
But you came to Canada.
We came to Canada. And from there to Korn. And then to Hastings, Nebraska. We stayed there about no, it was about 5 months, I think, something like that.
When'd you come to Oklahoma?
When?
When?
Well, I don't know exactly the date when Papa come when. Oh, I know when he filed. The place is 3 miles to the north and 3 miles north and a mile and a half east of here. That's where he filed. But he came here. This fellow, great-grandfather, he was one that old grand preacher.
So did your father come to file on a claim?
Yes.
What year was that? Now, was that 1901?
Oh, 1901. 93.
93.
In December 1893, well, that is when he came over here to file.
Yeah.
And on the 23rd day of December, he filed. Now, what a kid could remember all that, huh? In Oklahoma City, yeah. All right, they came strangers. Brother John, and he, oldest one, he came to El Reno. All strangers. But they have heard through that west of El Reno, that was free land, west of El Reno. All right. So they went to come to El Reno, and well, they talked with people. John could talk English that much already while working in a brick factory in Hastings. And then, yeah, they met somebody there. Freighters, hauling freight. Several men, and Texans. I was like, stranger, just well, never met him before. And I said, yeah, I said, we're hauling freight down there. Shelley over there to these friends. But they didn't know this settlement here. Well, what about going along? Well, if you promise that you'll walk, was pulling, hard pulling in the sand this time. And, well, they ate and slept with them and come over here and just passed us here 2 miles. But they didn't know. Got to Shelley, but those people knew about this group. Oh, I said, you're too far. You have to walk down yonder. There's a way. Nichols was there. I think Benjamin Nichols was his name. So they started walking northwest. They got there, plenty tired. Mr. Nichols had gone to El Reno to get winter provisions. This was in December. And asked about staying there. Well, Nichols come home. He said, we just don't have room. See how the Sloan, big families moved up. Well, Papa was so spoiled, so tired, so played out from all the walking and that. He says, I can't go any further. Have you got something to eat? She asked Mrs. Nichols. Yes, I can give you a meal. And she gave both of them a meal then. All right, I felt better. And so now you walk as the crow flies, say that within southeast direction and keep that way. But you stay on that west side of that creek. See, there's a guide. And you just keep on going that way. And I think he'll be able to keep you. Sure enough, he did. The suit changes, and then they walk through that big grass. Yeah, I told one fellow here in the lumber yard when we were building. I says how things was. I says, grass is over 6 foot tall. And he laughed, but every time I come to the lumber yard, he joked me about it. Or whatever his name was, the Davidson Case lumber yard. Because there was what they called Yo's hamburger, John hamburger, they came later, also from there. And he says it was that high, what John was only come to the shoulder for me. He says, one of you is lying. You say up to your head, the edge of your own stuff is it, but he's on that smoke. Well, but every time we came in, he knew this. And I just got, but enough of that. That night I got mad, but I proved him. One day we was going to town, I and my daughter, I said, just sat up our land. I know we hate these, I'll stop you with some blue stem. And I went down, took my knife and cut off 3 strands right above their wrists. Put them in the car, drove right into the lumberyard, took and laid them right on the table. Here now, measure that. And was 6 foot and 3 inches. From that on, had never joked me no more. I knew what I was talking about. And, well, that was the beginning, but that, while we were so poor, we had an ox team. With the ox team, we plowed. Ox team became the church over here. And one trip, Papa made with ox team to El Reno, provisions, with 2 ox. And then going through that river, there was others ahead of it, but that river was on the rise. That's what the danger was in. And one some oxen plumbed through, broke through. And they scrambled, we hollered, scrambled, they knew, and they pulled out, and then the next team fell in. You don't dare to stop, not then. And they fell in, and the others pulled, and then the wagon dropped in that hole, and they pulled out, and there was men watching them. And he asked for a team to hook onto a wagon and pull them across, because Oxley never did it before. They didn't do it, and so they apologized very much of it. It would have been too late if it went down. Yeah, so we have this, and then this plowing and all that. Of course, we had to, until 1898 is when the Weatherford got in the fall, 1898. I made that trip on the wagon 4 times back and forth. 3 times, I mean. 3 times, corrected. On a wagon, I could make those camp fires. It was good. There were certain camps along the road. You could see where they camp. They take their drinking water and coffee along with the water, the teams, whatever their water was. A long pole, were like a green one, and some props under it that way, fork props. And then there was a rock laid, and then they built a fire in that. And their coffee pot first, and when there's enough glow in there, then the pan, you have anything to fry, then you put your pan on it. Yeah, that's the good old days.
Where was your father's claim? Where did he file?
3 miles north and 1.5 miles east of here.
North of Korn?
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of house did you live in? The first house?
Dugout.
A dugout.
It was, yeah, all right. When Daddy went back to Nebraska to clean out over there and come down with us, John, my brother John, and this man's great-grandfather here, he bought what all the windows and nails, of course they had to have nails. And they had the wood, most of them, all sawed out here in the river. Fresh cottonwood wood, sawed board. All right, and they 14 foot wide and 40 foot long. And then one pole from one end to the other. Well, see here, you got to lay on the end over there, and here too. So you had to be a little longer than 40 feet. One pole. Skinned, peeled, and then one big pole in the middle for support. And then the boards was put on there, one more, rafters, that's kind of the whole board. And then the one set of boards, and then the other set over these craps, you see, like this. And then took and plowed sods, and they put them sods, and lap. The next one would be lapped like this and that way. And then after that, dirt was thrown on top of it and make all the crevices closed if possible. So it didn't rain too much longer in the house and outside. It leaks through.
So it's 14 by 40 feet.
14 by 40. And one window, half window on each side, and a full window on the end, door to the east.
Did you have the inside walls faced?
Huh?
Did you have the inside walls covered?
No.
Just a bare sod?
Just me, they plastered over with adobe, or something like that, yes, they plastered over that. And then afterwards I was playing a gyp hill there too. We go to a gyp hill, our neighbors there, and that was usually my job later. And they just white. It was just pretty white. All right. And as much as I could carry home, and then made a good slush mud with a brush, and then, just get, boy, that looked pretty.
Is that the inside or outside?
Inside.
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 What kind of floor did you have?
Genuine Oklahoma dirt floor. Genuine Oklahoma dirt floor. Yeah. And dirt steps, dirt, And then about the next year, then of course I would build another kitchen, build a kitchen on that with sods wall. And the roof just about same like that, but maybe they didn't have boards. I know they had willows, you could cut the willows out there and put them through there and then put the sods on that. Good timbers underneath, the weight wouldn't break through. And a window on each side.
What kind of furniture did you have in the dugout?
What kind of furniture it is, a lot of it is homemade. And of course, you got some of it brought along, but not too much. And the church was too, just this sawed cottonwood. Yeah, we had a church here too, off the sawdust. It was no liens on it, so you go to sleep, you fall off. Yeah, my brother was the first couple that was married in this church here. The old
What was the name of the church?
Mennonite Brethren.
Mm-hmm.
The Mennonite Brethren.
How long did you live in the dugout?
Over there? Well, let's see. I don't know exactly, but we bought another farm in 1903. Father built a house where we moved on there. But finally, too, they were still in there.
Mm-hmm.
Mother and the younger brother. And we boys, there was a little house there, about 14 by 20, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we boys camped in that and built a granary, that's what we did, and slept in there. And my job was on punching cattle. You know what that is?
Tell me about it.
Punching cattle, herding cattle,
Yeah.
like the old days.
What other chores did you do in the farm?
Oh, gardening. We had to go all the way to the Cop Creek to get water to drink for the oxen.
Where'd you go?
Cop Creek.
Cop Creek.
2.5 or 3 miles east,
Mm-hmm.
wherever we could get down, you know. They wanted to dip in the bugger, carried it to a wagon, and any other one on a wagon, put it in the barrel, go back again. And one good thing, a neighbor told me, Pete Hamburger. He said one day they was there, the boys, more for the boys, there was a bunch of big family, and they was carrying for the third barrel already, they had about half full. Bunched in over the Indians bathing above stream. Oh. He says, Mother would use that water at all for cooking, if you say that. Because anybody that will spill these news that there's bathing above stream, he said, we'll have to dip that water and carry it to the wagon for the next round we have to make. So they all kept their mouth shut. And he said it didn't hurt anybody. That's some good old thing. But we could pick up the dry brush. That's good. You could take it home and it helped a lot. And then ships, house ships, you know, there was a big, and so it was over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you came on the 54 Highway?
Yeah.
All right. And you come there, about 4.5 miles from Korn, from Weatherford. There's a oil tank standing on the side, yeah? All right. Now look right up on top of the hill there. That's where we lived over 44 years. Built up there was a school head. And my brother John had the east half leased. Papa had the west half. But then I had 82 head of cattle and some colts, 7 days a week. I was on there, mostly rain or shine.
Mm-hmm. What kind of crops did you raise?
Mostly short on. Mostly short on.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get a little mix in there, but then that's a short on.
And what kind of crops did you raise?
Huh?
What kind of crops?
Corn and wheat, some oats, some barley if we could, and then garden for home use of potatoes and all that stuff, so we'd have our own supply for the winter. That is what you had to work for. And then, of course, a lot of trees was planted out, and you got peaches and whatnot.
Tell me about plowing.
Huh?
Plowing. How many acres could you plow in one day?
Well, that I wouldn't say it was a walking plow.
Did you plow with oxen?
Yes, that's what we had to start out with.
Mm-hmm.
And then Father was able to buy 2 mules and so on. And put up.
What do you like to plow with best, mules, oxen, or horses?
Horses.
How come?
Well, they're quite so tricky. And that mule does some good mules, but some of them they kick like you know. And then good milk cows we had them, you know. And we went through the hard times when our two heavy springing thoroughbred Jersey heifers I had to trade it in. And they want to give me $25 for the two government buyer, you know, for this PWs. I said, no, 30, 25, 30, 25, 30. No. I said, all right. I wouldn't take it. And there we yeah, and then what we had, I had 82 head of cattle, some colts, with the whole thing, and then it got to running water. That's what they call Spring Creek water in our land where it starts the water. And even last winter, you know, it was cold. Quite a streak was open water, not frozen. That's strong, this spring is, and brings up the fresh water. That's my son-in-law, Hebert. I don't know, you probably know it. You're from here, from Weatherford?
No, I'm from Bartlesville.
Not acquainted there.
When did you start to school?
Oh, I think I was going on 9. And the reason, we had 2.5 miles, half of what was through grass and weed and some plowed ground, and then we hit the road. There's the Korn Valley. Then, but we had a mile across school, but they wouldn't let us go there. These board members from this district said you got a little bit head money, you know, and just wouldn't let us go there. And so I had to wait until I was old enough, strong enough to make them 2.5 miles one way, back again, and then do your chores when you come home.
Could you speak American when you started the school?
No.
Tell me about the school not speaking American.
That's fun. Now, but at that time it wasn't. Well, Fred, the older brother, 5 years older now, he could already speak. He'd been going. So, yeah. And he put me with him, I guess, probably just for that reason. Because there was no German speaking. Nope, that teacher, I should have a picture of him in the school. Then, of course, get under the desk, but like that. Yeah, the teacher had written something to write. But what did I know what he meant? So kind of stuck her head down the ear like that. My friend told me, so you copy that. You must have nachschreiben. Ah, what could I write? I looked, you know, and wrote as good as I could, you know. And then, of course, I picked up the language. I said it's just a disgrace that our people don't have more than one language. And that barely English. During the war, some of them men approached me and they said I should talk American. I said, you don't talk American either. Yes, we do. I said, no, you don't. I just took him right flat. Said, you don't speak American. The natives were Indians here. That's American. We took that from England. It's English. This is the English language, not the American. Of course, we use it now here in America, yes. And rightly, everybody should know that language. Everybody should know that. But it's very nice if you know different languages too. I can talk 3 different dialects in German and one in the English now. And, well, we just try to do this. What's that? There's some language I'll learn when the boy helping Papa plow. Well, help me plow that. He's running one plow. And I asked him, what is this? And what is that? What is that? Well, I didn't pronounce it correctly. He laughed at me. Well, I laughed with him. That's what I learned. Oh, he said, no, you laugh at me? That's one of the craziest things. I said, say it again. It's like we have Mexicans here. And he says in my thing, I sometimes can't quite twist it. I said, that's just about like Chinese. But that is one of the hardest languages I think one to learn. Chinese, and there's another one, I forgot it. Missionary told me they had to have, I think, 3,000 characters to fluently preach and talk.
In Chinese?
Yeah, and there's one of them that looked just like, oh, a little bit tip here, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little. That is, I tell you, that's all the word.
Mm-hmm.
They don't spell it out in it.
Right.
And I tell you, it's Bartlett. Where's Bartlett? Down there somewhere?
Up by Tulsa?
Oh, I see.
Tell me about Statehood Day.
What?
Statehood Day.
Statehood.
Yeah, 1907, when Oklahoma became a state.
Well, the 1970s when they proved up the land, most of them then, I think, or before, according to what they filed.
Mm-hmm.
So many years you could live without having it proved up. I still have the Papa's proving up papers.
Mm.
Just got me the booklet for it.
Yeah.
And my house is over yonder.
Yeah. How'd your Papa prove up on the land?
How?
How? What did they do to it?
Oh, they asked him not a question, but I just answered, but what is he? Huh? I said they didn't ask him, do you think he will make a home here? Do you think he'll stay, or this the thing? That wasn't answered with that. Do you know the man wants to be a citizen? Do you know that he's going to make his home here? And that was yes or no. That's right in this booklet. I went through it. The boy, it just tickled me to read it. I hadn't seen it before. I don't know how come, but well, when he was dead, why we divided up our books and souvenirs and things.
Yeah.
I was one of the administrators, and I got that book.
Do you remember the Spanish-American War?
Oh, yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, I wouldn't know too much about it. I just know that the one accused the other, and then, of course, later I met men working here in the store that was in that war, served there. But I wouldn't know much about it. There was, wait a minute, Hebert? No, he wasn't in that. No, that was someone else. Warrior that I knew was in it. He got out at the end, but no, I couldn't say anything about that. And how was it then, the slogan? Well, because the ship was sunk.
The Maine.
Yeah.
Remember the Maine.
Remember the man, the devil with a spade. That's what it was. Yeah. Now that was nice, but then that's why you don't need to put that down, but that's why you do.
You know, in 1907, November 16th, 1907, Oklahoma joined the Union, became a state. Capitol and Guthrie. Do you remember that day?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't remember.
Tell me some more about your childhood.
Why?
Oh, what kind of games you played?
Now you're going to put that all in that
Yeah.
book?
Yeah.
Oh. And that is J.D. Schlichting?
Hmm?
By J.D. Schlichting?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And what you getting for those books?
Oh, nothing.
Huh?
Nothing.
Like this, what was it? It was history, yes. From foreign history and all that. Several companies tried, oh man, they were after, that. And then they said the price would be so and so much, and then so and so much. And good grief, it was close to 30. Russell lived for a long while. That took care of me on that. Yeah, it's about this yet, but one day my mother lifted her head up, and Russell, he piled up, well, we ate what we needed, and then the bread, he just piled on the table. Oh, I had a big pile of it piled up. Mother looked, oh, Mr. Russell, what do you want with all that bread? Oh, he said, be quiet, Mr. Schlichting. You'll eat that and more after you get well. And so it was. They got that portion and they ate all that. And they just, oh, they was concerned they got the crop, the ship. And my goodness, they was laying this puking. And then they gave them the artillery. Now that's again from the people side to Rome. They broke over and pickled them, barrel herring. We should just eat this stomach settle. Then they just ate poverty, none sugar, poverty. Well, that isn't the way to eat. Why didn't eat what you could, right? Done. But that's, I mean, just like hogs get in there. Well, you see it in restaurants, let them do that, but, well, that's not. But we did eat that and more with it. And he is known there in that community for, well, here too, for excellent winemaker he was. But I never see him go. And this Rents, he knew he was good winemaker too. But I never see him go. My boy didn't. I worked there one time for him, his gardens. I plowed it and harrowed it. Oh, at 4 o'clock, he brought a little lunch of crackers and half a pint. Half a pint of wine. I shook it a little. I knew wine too. I saw it was strong stuff. Well, I ate these others, the crackers and the others, and I just took a little moist in it sometimes. And it's rather the guys against me. Here, take it over. Drink this stuff, drink it, brother, drink it, finish it. No, I said. Well, all right. Well, good lad, if I drank the rest of that half, why, I wouldn't have been able to work there. You had to know. Yeah. Enough is enough. And so I'd never see Uncle.
Did you make wine?
Yeah.
How'd you make it?
Huh. That is one way that you couldn't make wine. Not now. Well, make it, you just took them berries off, ripe berries, and run through a meat grinder, so they'd all broke. And put them in a cup and put some sugar in there. And then cover it up. Get a cool page, the cellar. Cover it up. You want to get me in a caboose for that? Are you going to get me in a caboose for this?
Caboose.
For this recipe? And then he, that's what Uncle Dick. And then he said the first day you open a little bit, light a match. That match will be out just a little bit. That gas, no gas to burn. And you do that second day again, and that match will burn but halfway. I didn't know that first. And then the third day, you did it again. And that match would all burn up. So then it's ready. and then give it off. Give it off. I'll never be a swine. A little bit. Enough for a meal. Now wine is even commanded in the Bible, but never not to be glassful is a strong wine. One time I give my friend, he came from Texas, brought a child over for the Bible school. And did you have some wine? Yeah. And I give one about that much in a glass. Something like that. It looked good. It was white wine. It looked good. And then he drank it. Wouldn't say nothing. Now he came back for the night to stay with us. It was from Henrietta, Texas. I said, Jake, he says, I've got some confession to make. I thought you were stingy, but you must have known what you had. He said, I'd have drank it, if it was full, I'd have drank it all, and that would have been 11 rows from here to Korn. So he was glad. He said, well, that is use wine is healthy. What am I going to make a hog out of yourself? That's the wrong thing about it. When it's that much enough and you quit, you build up. Build up is very good to build up the body, but not to be a hog about it. So I never saw him shot neither. No?
When was Korn settled?
Huh?
When was the town of Korn founded?
1894.
Who founded
There's
Korn?
a lot of settlers around
Yeah.
before it. Well, who?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Mennonite Church, Mennonite Brethren. Of course, there was a lot of Catholics here too, in there, but they had a church over 2 miles west and 2 miles north. They had a church there. I know where it was, and it was just suddenly sold out. Sold out. Oh, they offered him a pretty good price, I think, for it. In the settlement, he bought here. But we still had some Catholics, of course. Their teaching and all this wasn't agreeable with ours. But as far as we get along with them, well, that we had to deal with justice. There was a couple justice brothers. Well, I tell you, I wouldn't wish anything better. I was along when we went to the Cop Creek there to get some wood, and fell the tree and hit in another one. And I don't know how I that went up. He got up somewhere to cut that limb. And boy, he didn't expect that tree to come down that quick. And so when he was on, it got down. And he broke his hip back. Well, Henry, oldest brother, here, we got him on a wagon and gig out, and just put him on, his feet hanging out that much foot. And I said to hold him when he drive up the steep bank so he wouldn't slide off. And then taking a dugout there, the other boy was home too, Fred, the older one. And each got a hold on to his arms and his legs dragging on the ground. That's what had to him in. There was enough men that to hold him. And this justice, they heard about it, him and his wife. Papa was a doctor, and he did for him before this work. And they came to visit him. She was out here alone. And he says, Mr. Schlichting, if you need any help, work, you let me know. But our spiritual is what that has nothing to say in this case. You tell me, I'm going to help you. Well, it was the winter time when there's many. She worked there, except making wood while the boys could do that. I mean, that from that standpoint, we sure like that man. Yeah. And Well, there was others too, I guess. They probably give help too to others. But that's what I mean. That means all Christians should help one another. What do you belong to?
Episcopalian?
This-
Episcopal?
Was born again. Well, I was so shocked. What? I never heard that from Catholic. So she got back again, and then I said, how do you understand that? Well, they said we just go through a steady. We go through a steady. And when it's through a steady, we're born again. Yes, but it says we have to be sorry of our deeds, of our sins, and ask Christ to forgive us, and Christ alone. Because this says the Bible, and it's true. Christ alone forgives the sin. No one else can. I said the priest is one can help you pray to forgive your sin, if you wish. Help you pray, but as forgiving Christ only. And she just stood there and looked down, looked down, looked down. I don't know if she ever got straightened out. Now the Lutheran people, that's very much that they go to catechism. But while going through the catechism, steady, they felt themselves as sinners, and they asked for forgiveness, and they got saved. As well, going through that series of studies. I know those men, and I know they didn't joke about it. And I have some nephews, these friends girls, from them was 2 years. A bunch of them here, they discussed that. All right, but just the study only, that'd be only head knowledge. This you have to understand. Well, how you can, Nicodemus, when you read that in the Bible, you ever read it? About Nicodemus? He come to Christ and said, what must do to get to heaven? Have eternal life. Well, Christ told him. Well, he said, how should I, grown man, old man, be born in a mother's womb? He didn't say that. Well, that isn't it. The new birth is here that we consider we are sinners, and we got down and ask Christ to forgive us, and He is the only one to forgive us. Christ the only one. Then, when He has us forgiven, I said we fail as we go sometimes. Then we ask the Christ to forgive us this sin we did, and He will. And I said right here in your heart, you'll feel that forgiveness, that joy, you know. They look at me, and I know that. That's what I experienced too. Of course, I was about 18 years, about it. And I enjoy that about joy.
Yeah.
But that's steadying only the word. Will never get you to heaven. I just like to tell you one incident. The man here, and he was quite a businessman. He said he had 40 trucks. From St. Louis to Los Angeles, running on freight. All right? And when I went to pay it out, he was a businessman. Had farming out here for Bessie. He was over here, and I asked him, are you a Christian? I think I am. See? I think. Question no, yes or no. All right. Then I said, are you born again? That's what it means. Christ teacher was Nicodemus. He studied a little bit, and he says, well, I was necessary to be born again. My mother and father is Christians. I'm born of Christian parents. Well, that's just like breeding cattle. See what you breed, that's what you get. Well, Christianity isn't that good. And I try to explain it the way of salvation to him, so I don't know what. Others told me he was a heavy drinker. He's dead now. What happened? I hope he accepted Christ. Well, that's the difference. And I know some of these men, Congregational, why, they've cussed and played cards and smoked and chewed and it's like any of we boys did. We did that.
Yeah.
No good.
How's the Mennonite Brethren organized?
How?
Yeah.
Well, that has been all done way back yonder in Russia. That's where they've been organized.
Mm-hmm.
They had to go to Moscow to get a permit to organize. When they're born again, that's really the thing. They're born again. Just a member. There are lots of them. First they were just members. Oh, they baptized and they were just members. They belonged to that church and so on. But they couldn't do just mostly what they wanted. It was a Christian life. But after they got, yeah, there was going further back. I've heard about it, read about it. It's the Germans that sacrificed human bodies, human people. And I just wanted to believe that. And listen, I got a hold of a book that ever described that. I had to back down. But then, for the law, there's one 20-year-old boy. He asked his father, after the ceremony like this again, oh, they get together and they have big time. Father, what about after death? You know, that woke the father up to think. And then they got converted, born again Christian, and there's really where it started out. Understand in German? You understand in
Very little.
Wiedertäufer. Baptized again. Those as the children, they baptized. And the Lutherans too. They just sprinkle on them and they're baptized. And now then, when they're saved, they go like Christ. You read it in St. John. They go in the water where John the Baptist, they baptized there. And he baptized Christ there, you know. Well, that means the baptism. And they didn't understand that. And that's what these new group organizations did. And there's no worldliness, no drinking, no chewing tobacco or using tobacco or any other, or stealing, or cursing, anything like that. That was all out. Anybody done that, you couldn't join the group. You have to be saved. And then you're saved, listen. Then you quit those things. Oh, you may have trouble. You may have some trouble. I mean, the devil will try to tempt you.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't permit that. No, that's not permitted. Later sometime it's pretty close.
Yeah. When was the Mennonite Brethren organized?
When?
When?
Here it was, yonder.
Oh, in Russia.
That I couldn't say. I have the book somewhere, but I don't know where. That, this pastor here, he would probably give you the date on that. Preacher. Or the other preacher did. This is the stay, the other will leave pretty soon.
What about the Russian Orthodox Church?
Huh?
You know anything about the Russian Orthodox Church?
What did he teach Orthodox?
Well, I don't know. I'm not familiar with them.
That I don't. I know the name, the Orthodox, know that, but I don't know exactly what their teaching was.
Okay.
It might have been just this other what I said.
Mm-hmm.
That you could join that and just you were just along as a church member,
Mm-hmm.
and as a church member alone is good. You can reach it. I mean, a Christian after he is a Christian, he ought to join up with the others. But that alone will save nobody. I wish it would, and well, in a way, I would say I wish. I mean, there's a lot of them. They just, well, I belong to this church. Fine and good. We should go to some organization that will be help, and we can help them. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they don't know the way through. They have some experience, probably what we had, and we can give them a helping hand in there. But This only belong to church, and only go to church on Sunday. Fine and good, we hear the gospel. We have this that much more responsibility towards God if we know we're not doing.
Yeah.
Now, Mom and I say this, my wife, she's gone, dead. We was the head of the training organization, MCC. I don't know whether you're acquainted with the MCC. Relief organizations for the all over the world. And they have an organization in Pennsylvania, the head office. And through them from foreign countries, they came here, and when they put applications for here, we had as much as 2 or 3 times, one at a time over here. And then I signed the papers for those to come over here. And some of them, they're just, and one boy, he just says, went to Arkansas, helped build a church there, a number of us, and took one home. He said, anybody that had never heard the gospel is not responsible for that. They'll go to heaven. And that was the other man knows. The one that never heard it will have less punishment than those that knew it that didn't do it, you know. Well, and so they left and went on other places. I walked up to him closer and I says, boy, I says, so says the word of God. He says, those that know and don't do it more, but those that don't know anything about it also will be lost in this. And the nice words I told him. He never talked to me. I don't know, does he respect age or what? They do sometimes there. He never did. And I don't understand how he's turned back, but a number of them got saved out here.
Yeah.
Well, like one of them. My brother was living here, Fred. And he says, you people over here in the United States, you sure lose a lot of religion. So he told Fred William, said, we have Sunday school in the morning, Sunday, and then preaching, and then the evening service, Wednesday night prayer meeting. He was from Holland. Well, they're not all that way in Holland, understand. He said, we in Holland, we come together and have 1 hour meeting in the morning, and then we go to a big hall, preacher and all, go to a big hall, and then we dance and smoke and drink, and oh, we have a good time. But that boy, before the 6 months was up that he was here, he thought altogether differently. He saw that wasn't Christianity. That's a social life thing, you might say. And that all has to be taught. And I had one man here, he was over here training, I had little booklets. And they would says, you must be born again. And it says, the way of salvation and so forth. Say, could I have one of them from my pastor in Holland? He took one for himself.
Yeah.
I said, yes. So he already knew about it. And some of them got saved and some of them was otherwise. And he preached there.
Tell me about that.
Or you want to get me in trouble?
No?
Well, what you want to know?
Oh, just,
There was a whole lot.
yeah. What do you remember about it?
Oh? You're not supposed to have a white flower, but a little on your hand. So we got that Capricorn flower, set it down there. We tried it, but it was almost impossible to eat. But we ate when we came here. We ate. My goodness, mostly cornbread, Korn was. If we had anything to go over, it's all right. If that was all right without it. That's poor it was. Well, now at that time, there were smaller mills that ground wheat flour. All right, and they didn't take out the brand as close as the big mills can. With little grays, but good. It tastes sweet, you know. You have good wheat. And once you come up, you can have only so and so much flour. You can have only so and so much flour. No, you have to eat something else. Well, what? Well, I've got this ground flour. I bring it in, draw it in. Now we don't know what we shall do with this. Why didn't let it have us have it and eat it? I don't know what they did with it, whether they rerun it or not. And well, that was it. And then they're speaking. Now some were older people that just couldn't speak the English. Mm-hmm. And that the record they made on telephones, they were using one-line telephones. Oh, they raised the cane. It's disturbing. And a lot of places didn't have the, well, the Lutheran. They came to our church. Yeah, they said us too. They said you got to have English preaching. Well, the deacon told him, I said, all right. You drafted the man that has the best education in English. You drafted him. He's in a camp. And this old preacher there, freezing, he says, he can't preach English. Well, you let him go there, attorney. And this other church over there, they want to have a little business meeting, just business meeting. Just because you run about church. And they wouldn't let them have it in their own church in German. So they asked for us, freezing church there. Yeah, he said, you can stay right in here. Well, I don't know what it was. I knew the people well, our neighbor. Oh, I said, listen, there was nothing out of the line whatsoever. But wouldn't let him have it, see. Just the language. But who built up this country? There were these Catholics, there were so many of them were German. We were German. Different different groups. The Germans. The Luther, High German, a Low German.
Yeah. Did you have to go to the war, World War I? Did you go to World War I?
No, I passed. But I was working in Father's land, the 3/4 land there. Just this what I say, that half section on the west side, and then the one we lived a mile further that way. And then raising horses, it was all with horses that time. And meat to eat, and we had quite a few cattle. We had a 90-acre pasture on the south quarter there. And as they steadied it, and we had already children, 2 children, and one of them coming, one away. And someone said, well, they just figured, you understand, by the time they feed these children here, pay for all that, and they had better, the way you were raising crops here, food, they better leave you at home.
Yeah.
So they did. I was glad to do it. And we did raise a lot of food. And we worked, oh my goodness, we worked hard. But that's just supporting the government.
Was there any feeling against the Germans? Was there any feeling against the Germans in this part of the country?
Last war again. Yeah.
What did the people do that? What kind of resentment did they have?
Oh, they should all speak English. Speak English. As you couldn't understand, you don't. They talk about me. You talk about me. He said, my great Scott, if I want to talk, I'll go talk to him. This craziness, that's just what it is. Most of that's what it is.
Who had the resentment against the Germans?
Huh?
Who had the resentment against the Germans?
Most of the English people can't understand it. I said, why don't you learn it? So we learned both languages the other way. I knew one professor, I couldn't name him, he was here in Weatherford College. I saw him there one day, but then, that's before there was pay though. Sidewalk there, so he stood right out the chair, and they still had to drive through about half a block, you know. And right there, he stood there, and elderly clothes on, and he stood there, red handkerchief on the ground his neck. And I just thought, I knew him well. I knew, what, that man standing there? They stand there, they made no motion, nothing, people walked. And afterwards I thought he knew German, too. And when the people would say something in German, that would be, if we said that had a side problem with the government or something like that, that he picked it up and he couldn't carry it on. Just that down, low down. And some other one is the church people. And I know one of them. I would come to church, we know our family. And I said, well, what the sun was just going down, but I recognized him well because there was enough light there. Right, handkerchief around his neck, old hat on, elderly coat on, just walking there. And what? Unless he's not going to church. Wasn't going to church with those clothes on. And afterwards, on his, well, he laying on his deathbed. And then he had those people come around, he confessed what he did. Still he wanted to do it. Think they get honor. They think they would honor him. You be honest in your honor. When it's wrong, it's wrong. Regardless if he does it, you can tell them. If you see somebody doing wrong, whether it's war or not, whether it's German or English, say, listen, fella, you better not do that. That's wrong.
That's right.
You know, you have the right, not the privilege, but the obligation. The obligation not to do that.
What about the 20s and 30s?
Huh?
The 1920s and 1930s, were they rough times? You know, the Dust Bowl, dust storms?
Oh, brother.
Tell me about those days.
I don't know too much about it, but I know it was rough. Yes, it was rough. Well, we didn't get the schooling we needed. When there's work to do, you stay home. All right. Wife and I, see, we lived in that flat just from that filling, how many tanks there. So the children go to school. And we went out 20 and 22 miles, pick cotton. We had a little girl, could leave it with her sister, and took two of her girls along, so they could earn a little bit. Al, all right, and I picked cotton at 25 cents a hundred. I snapped cotton at 25 cents a hundred. Well, you see, well, what's that? But that man had the cotton was only 2.5 cents a pound in cotton in town. 2.5 cents a pound, snap cotton. You had to give 1/4 rent. See? All right, you give me 25 cents. What you had left out of 2.5 cents? And working that, oh, it was nice cotton. Once when I had 100 pounds snapped, I had a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't always eat what you liked.
How many pounds could you pick in a day?
Oh, there's a good cotton, probably around 300, I don't know, I wasn't such a big cotton picker, some of them are.
Mm-hmm. What about when Roosevelt plowed the cotton under?
Huh?
When Roosevelt plowed the cotton under? Was that in the 30s when he did that?
I know, but we never plowed a stalk under it. Just wouldn't do it. And others did. And some outside, he wasn't a church member. He says, anybody done that? They had a conversation about it. Anybody done that? He said, he sinned. This fellow said. Well, I thought some under. Well, you were a sinner too, he told him.
Yep.
Wouldn't have thought that man would speak out like that. But they see it, right is right, wrong is wrong.
That's right.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, and then it was very tight somehow, and I had a note. I couldn't pay the note, but the harvest is coming on, and I had to carry that note over. And then after harvest, I expected to get wheat and I could pay it. Or at least that meant, and I had cost me $12 to set it up 6 months. And I didn't have the $12, man. And I didn't know where to get it. Once I happened to think I got some prairie left over. 2 days. I go to town and ask people that had horses, had wagons. Oh, you need any hay? One man said, yes. How much? A ton. And we just covered it. And so I bring it in. And say, you put in a halo for me. Oh, yeah, sure. You didn't know how much he was pressing. Put it in a halo, had a man with me. Hi. And then I'm going to extend that note. And I had 50 cents cash money in my pocket now. And I was the happiest man in town. Now that's where you feel, that's close. Shaving my head. Yes.
Tell me about the dust storms.
Well, weren't you here? Weren't you here that time?
No.
Well, how young a sport are you?
What were the dust storms like?
Well, I'll tell you. Well, they're not always alike, but we was here in church dismissed. Once you see dark black clouds coming up. Well, there's going to rain clouds. That were dust clouds, just like a rainstorm coming up. And then we was in the western Kansas. Wife's aunt was buried, died and buried there. And we staying there with wife's cousin. And then it started to blow, and already in the afternoon, during the funeral, more straight wind blowing. And blowing and blowing and blowing on faster, a little faster. And the sand is moving. And now they had meeting at the evening. And then one of the boys had us and the preacher and all going to church. And he knew the road. And once he got off the side a little bit where he was going to make his left turn, the preacher asked him, "Boy, do you know what you're doing?" The stranger was the preacher. He says, "Yes." "Well, then go on." It sounded so funny, but he was sincere. He thought he was going to follow the dish. And actually, we was at the schoolhouse, or church it was, took with the flashlights and lights in there to walk in. That dirty. And it blew. Oh. All right, we had this church service, went home. That morning was quiet, but next morning we was going home here to Oklahoma. And we see how the people had the quilts and stuff hanging on the wash line and dusting them, you know. And we had it just there, was dusted it in, right now. Couldn't do anything with it. It was very, very hard. And then we cut the, I don't know if it was those years or not, but then on the boys was home then. Well, it was got to dry. Well, I got my neighbors one way. I thought it was one way, but it wouldn't go on the ground no more. But just, like I said, just 10 inch, and then we just put the rows over the thistle, Russian thistle. Oh, just put it rolled up. Well, I said, we can't plow that anyway. And we need to feed. The grass is too short to raise that pasture. He says, well, you take them over and go down, trim those thistles, load them on the rack and take them down. And both those other cattle ate it. Yeah. Yeah, they ate them. We got through. And the Lord hand down. And why those dust storms was, I don't know. We have wind and storms, but something like that. that was terrible.
Do you remember Armistice Day? When the war ended, World War One?
No, I know of, but then I don't know what. Oh, wait a minute. What's that?
November 11th, 1918.
I just wonder when that was. It was so when we went to town to get something. It must have been that. It's a repair for my car, I wanted. And we went to the repair and said, oh, what's all that? That's shooting that going on before we got to town. When we got to town, got out, all this sitting in on a picture of it, and shotgun and shooting and going on. And we say we got what we done, but some of them got hurt too anyway. Well, you ought to stop and pray. It would have been better as all that racket. Well, that was worthy doing. Of course, we didn't interfere with them. We could have maybe got a good thrash to do it. But, well, we was glad we did. Oh, yes. World War II, we had son-in-law and a son in non-military service, hospital work, essentially. Son-in-law was in the worst hospital at his home was in. It's crazy, people like that. Yeah.
You mentioned that your mother's aunt was a bodyguard to the Tsar.
My mother's brother.
Mother's brother.
Brother.
What were his duties as a bodyguard?
Just watchman. I don't know as any further than a watchman. Just say, keep your eye on anybody. Yeah, and then another thing, one time, Tsar wanted to go someplace, travel. And then, this is interesting. And, the road on the water and the sea, just like we know the highways. See? And they wanted to get next to them, and it got out that he'd be that and that day, and about that and that time, they had crossed a certain place. And about a quarter of a mile away, kind of over a knoll, behind there, from there, they had the wire on the ground there like this, all the way down here, into the water, and the bombs laid here. Just the path where that ship would go. See, they know that as well as, and they all through smugglers, got that out. Oh, they never pay me. I'll give you so much if you tell me. All right. And they had her laid there. And from over yonder, that's where they pulled the trigger. I mean, a switch. So you'd be right on there, and I used to go up the whole thing. And you know, they just missed it a few seconds or so, just behind the ship. To blew up. No one was up there. Lay for a second. All this, you know, that's the way they lay for his life.
Yeah. Do you remember what was your reaction when you heard the Russian Revolution and they had shot the Tsar?
Well, I guess I felt pity for that. They said the Tsar was good. The Tsar was good. Of course, he make mistakes. Don't the army president make mistakes? And he took the price off of the wheat. $1.40 bushel, something like that. So the Russians wanted to buy it. Well, they get it anyway. We don't have war now. They get it anyway. So England, Canada, we sold them it, made the money out, and we said no, the empty bank. And still, he asked now money. You want money?
Yeah.
Well, I was backing him with some of this, get these whoremongers out of the schools. It's just a plain word. You know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Getting them out. And the Bible and the reading and the Word of God. Now, we would be penalized not to read the Scripture. What? In a free land? It's unconstitutional to pray. The Lord's Prayers is unconstitutional. Well, you Catholics very likely would pray the Lord's Prayer, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's not the unconstitutional Lord's Prayer, is it?
No.
There's nothing to hurt any except sin. But it don't hurt any nationality or any faith or anything. But you should not pray that. School. Well, you know that? All right. That has the about, and there's one woman does all that dirty work.
Yeah. Madeline O'Hare.
Now, why is it?
Mm.
And, well, there you are. If we don't, if you realize that whether it's Catholic or Protestant, don't make no difference, all the things stay together, you get that prayer that you can pray, and I can pray, my God. If they live ungodly, they don't want us to say anything. You want to have that way and all this. No, that's what we have in other nations. We have a granddaughter and her husband are in Panama. And she was home now just the other week. And they said that they had noticed another big country there that Indians, just like these others in Panama, I don't know what what was in the religion, but it says the Spanish speaking. We need somebody Spanish speaking to bring. But that they never have heard the gospel yet. Mine. So far behind. Of course, I heard from other countries, but here, and it says it's a big locality there. Never had heard the gospel. And the Spanish speaking. You need them. Oh, Indians too. And they have an on and off, and they have to renew their visa every 2 months to stay. And if they don't want them to stay, you better get out of there.
Yeah.
That's what it said, Panama. But they say there a number of years already, doing good work, I think. No, it's a wouldn't stay there. Yeah, they need our prayers, our help.
Mm-hmm.
We're on 93 years.
Hmm.
September 29th.
Mm-hmm. You'll be 93 in September.
Here's the C.H. Dick. He's in the basement. They work in a laundry here. He's just a day older now. Just a day older. So I tease him. Oh, yeah, I said, you're older now.
Does he live here?
Yeah, he lives here in town, but he works here.
He does.
Yeah, laundry. She is.
What's his name?
Dick,
Dick.
D-I-C-K. His wife is the head of the laundry thing. Well, I know there's others too. Well, it takes a number of them. You see, I think there had been 54 people in here, and you see there's all those beddings and all that. My goodness. Clothing, it takes a lot of washing. Neat, nice, clean washing. And we have service for near every evening, except Saturday and Sunday they have from the churches usually.
Yeah.
And of course some extras. Hey, come here.
Hey, what's going
Come
on?
here. With him first?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, I don't know. And he came over and he said, Jacob, where do you got such thick cheeks from? And I just like it. Korn throat. That old man never forgot that. I answered that so quick.
Yeah.
And the cornbread is what I got. Well, it was good food. But yeah, all right. I know one day mother, before we could get a cow, didn't have nothing to put in the grease of anything, grease of any kind into the food. No milk or anything. Well, finally got a cow at Cordell. Those are German people, they're preacher. And how the people worked that time too. Then when Fred was on, my older brother, 5 years older, our old going, I'm the last one. And he said, Papa, what cow did you sell him? It's my dad, you know, to my dad. Well, the cow so-and-so. Well, Dad, that's my best cow. You know, the attitude I'm going to bring out with it. Yes, but them are poor people, have the big family, they need it so bad. The attitude is that he sold us the best cow to the short-horn milk, short-horn. Well, and they brought it from Cordell over here where I said where we live. Oh, and then she had love what she got a little milk, something, making something, noodles or dumpling something. Yeah, it meant something. I know one time, I didn't know this, what happened, but was it this second winter, or did he get him some Capricorn somewhere else? I don't know. But I know it was snow, we already had some wood laying there, all on the creek. And we scattered some Capricorn there. Snowbirds settled in there. So, oh, they loaded the shells themselves. They had the powder and caps and shot into, and made the shots, you know, on the baby mine, lead. Cut the pieces, you know, and put it on two boards and rolled it. Ah, that's where we shot. We shot him and got a few birds. So we have something to add in this gravy on the food. Mm-hmm. That gets close. That gets close. Mm-hmm. I said, we went over here with the ox team. Oh yeah, and then the wedding, Brother John is the first one that was married in that dugout.
Yeah, tell me about the wedding.
Huh?
Tell me about that wedding.
All right.
What year was that?
94.
Okay.
There's 17 June, either June or July, I don't know exactly, but one of these, oh, 17, I forgot. This here goes before you forget that. And, yeah, well, Pete Crocus, they won't go in there somewhere. And he came to church here in the morning, and there was a Newfield was the leader of the church, Peter Newfield, ordained pastor.
Yeah.
And then we had a Sunday school first. First a Sunday school. Hey, good to eat? Had Sunday school first, and then had the preaching service. And now comes the other part. And then the preacher said there, oh yeah, they kind of around this way, lengthwise, and the women folks sat here and the men folks sat here. All separate. And the women folks came into the east door, and the men come into the west door. I know it maybe. I had it all written up. Brother John wrote all that down in the history. And then he said, here is a couple of young people that have promised to give their hand. He said, I've got to translate that to you from German. Life for life. And if they're still so minded, they may step forward. These two. So Mary, the girl, comes from out of there among the women, and John comes from over here, from the men folks. And we're still so minded. Chairs were set there. So he married them. And then he says, he writes in there, then I could, it was not permitted that they drive together somewhere. Then I could drive along with them. They already had a spring wagon, Kroger's. And they went then to Kroger's place, and he said he could drive along with a spring wagon with his new wife, young wife. And we came with the ox team after, and had dinner there. And, well, we knew they had to have a water here. You got to go to Cop Creek to get the water. You see, it's 3 or 4 miles that way, 4 miles at least.
What, southwest?
Yeah, this I mean from the west, from the church, so northwest where they live, northwest. And then we had another, and then until they get over there to our place, and then afterwards you go to the creek, get some water. All right. So they got over there and had a dinner, and they drove home. And of course, then she came with the ox team. She was with us on the wagon. And well, there's the boys, John, young man, and Will, the oldest brother, they would go over to Cop Creek get some water. And it takes, Mary, she was kind of, well, like the young women would be. Waited, but she could see quite a long distance when they'd come around. Level. So she was going down to meet him. And went down there and sat down in the tall grass until he come by. If she'd have waited till they passed him, but just before when they got there, pretty near when they got, she rose up out of that tall grass. Oh boy, Tom and Jill was the name of them steers. They took out for home. To save their life. They never saw her in a white dress. She had a white dress. A wedding dress. And they went home, and Dad already had built a Dutch oven in the yard. Oh, it was bigger than this table. You know what a Dutch oven is?
Describe it.
Huh?
Describe it.
It's well, they use rocks, and then W mud, grass and mud, and up there for plaster and cement. And then a dome was nice. It made for good stove for baking. And those stairs they came on, hooked on that corner, and tore that corner off, spilled about all the water out of the barrels. I had to go next thing. I guess maybe I left little in it. And then I had to go, and that was the end of the scene. And finally got the oxen stopped there in the yard. That is the wedding scene. Yeah, he lived afterwards, a little just west of us on the next quarter over there, and they dug for water. The lower places, our places twice, nothing. And you know how sometimes it is. You went down almost a half a mile, and just across, oh my goodness, maybe from here to this chair, not further, just across the line, half a section line. They dug down there, whether they had any switch or what, I don't know. But anyway, they dug down, and boy, how they just dug right past that rock and down to the springs, main spring, plenty of water. They were made a gutter from there to our trough, over there. Poured in the trough, a gutter, run in there. But we had to haul it with a sled all the way down. Yeah. Always haul the water with a sled. Yeah.
Well, I think we have a good interview.
But,
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
we had to always get over there. Finally, we moved north, about another quarter over there where we lived later. And we had to haul it down half a mile, but it wasn't just a deep well. Well, this wasn't either. And for many years, finally fell dead line drill of 200 and either 198 or 202. One was that way, the other that way. Yeah, we're up in the water then. But I'll tell you then later, as a wooden frame tower. But by the years, you know, they rot out. And I don't know why in the world, I was a young man and strong. And I had nerves like iron, too. And, well, they could have laid that whole tower down, but there was a 10-foot mill on there, maybe 8 or 10. Well, they could do it this way. They got one pole at a time, you know, but take all the braces loose, all these braces, all loose. This loose man took us out, and I had to get up there then and took them bolts out over there and let that down. And then that roar so terrible. There was a storm, like we had some storm nowadays. We had a storm so terrible that they had to really holler when they're on the bottom for me to understand what they say. That's a storm there. And I was out there for 2 or 3 days, changing them. I'm telling you, it's really just, I almost couldn't sleep at night sometimes. That's it. It's kind of just a roll, just a shivering. But yeah, and then took that out, a new one, and pulled that and nailed them on there again, and then took the other one out, and that's out before. That was my job on that. Oh boy. Well, I couldn't do it now. I wouldn't try it. Well, later we got irons. And I did it mine when I over there, 1920. That's when we went over there, wife and I and family. Moved to several little houses over. Never give out.
Yep.
My father-in-law, he switched. I wanted him to switch there. You know what that is? Switch for water?
Oh, which for water? Yeah, with a stick. Okay.
And then you way in the pasture, way down there. Come back right here. to the yard. And he went out there on a gyp hill, and I said, well, what did he want on a gyp hill there? I never sat down there, out of everybody. And then come out there, and more howdy, if he just didn't cross. Going down through that way. I said, all right. I said, right there, we put that stake where they crossed. And he went down, and he got all the water that he needed. But what that mineral was in that rock, I don't know. He went down 25 feet, and he hit rock. So found that right there, not very far, not far across the street, there was rock on top already. And here it was 25 feet down. All right. And then he had a 50-foot layer, one kind. 50-foot layer. Then I think it was in the second layer. And then in the second layer, he hit something, he broke his cable, and drill cable. And I brought him to dinner from home. That was another mile farther we lived, on Father's place. I brought him to dinner, and we did it. I said, Mr. Shrek, I said, eat now. Well, I know I lost my bit, and I better not leave it then. I said, oh, I said, come on, eat it at your own dinner. It's cold. And I had never had no idea what that would do. And you know, it just only had a flange, about that much. That drill had, you know, cut it right. All right, he ate dinner, and then we wanted to get that loop. And two of them worked and worked hard. We just made tight cable, and he knocked on their end, and pulled it, and hit again that cable to give it vibration. Finally, we got it loose. Now, here's what I want to say. Now, this other, in the second 50 feet, it was white stuff, but you know that's what glued that drill down? Just in that little while he ate his dinner. But I mean, what kind of materials? Because I wish I could have got some of that. What kind of materials could have got? They glued that so tight in that little while. Yes, you could see after we got it loose and got it out. Got it coupled again, right? Went on. A horsepower drill.
Why do they name the town Korn?
K-O-R-N, Korn.
Why?
Korn, that's in German, Korn.
Yeah.
Eugene Forbes, you ever knew him? Well, he lived. You know where Cornwall School was?
No.
All right, he settled over here. Let me just get this. Well, see, you want the distance from here?
Yeah.
All right. Just a minute. 2, 3, 4. 2 miles north and 4 north. No, and 2 east. 2 north and 2 east. There was a Mr. Forbes lived there. And he's an attorney. And he homesteaded there. And then over through here, lots of corn was planted here. You could raise that. You see, that's what we did in the early days. Plant corn and work that land good, corn land, and then we could sow wheat in that and put corn over here. So that's plowed, with a horse plow. All right. And with a sulfur plow, you don't gain too much. I mean, you don't plow too much a day, or a hand plow. No, we didn't plow too much later years, but in the early years did. Oh, 40 acres of wheat, man, that was a big field for wheat. All right. So I wanted a lot of corn, and he just called this Korn. It's a good Korn Valley. See, it's a valley. It's a big valley here, there. from there. And there is yours. So it's a valley. So we named it Korn Valley.
Yeah.
K-O-R-N, Korn. All right, then we had what I said, a sub-nosed. Oh, she was educated a bit, was teaching. After the postmaster during the war. And that was too pro-German. Now see again. That was too pro-German. That has to be K-O-R-N, Korn. But it's, in German, it's C-O-R-N. I mean K-O-R-N.
Yeah.
K-O-R-N, Korn. And that's what it is. And this for many years, it's run all those Korn folks.
Did you know Mr. Seeger at the Seeger Indian School?
I knew some of them, but I don't know. The younger man I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of work did you do besides farm?
I don't know of anything as the agency probably there, as the agency there.
Yeah.
With the Indians.
Yeah. What kind of work did you do?
Me?
Yeah, besides farm.
Huh. Want to hit the nail on the head, huh?
Yeah.
I was punching cattle. That is when I was a young boy,
Mm-hmm.
from 12 to, I don't know, 12, number of years,
Then what'd you do?
farm. Oh, when that little off time I went to school.
Where at?
A freezing school, that was close to that. The last year I went, it was 2 months. Believe it or not, in 2 months, I knew what I was going to school for. In 2 months, I finished a complete grade with 93 and 3/10 average.
Yeah.
Average.
Someone said that you're a chiropractor.
Huh.
Are you?
I thought you were going to get going that far. Yes, I've heard about that like that. A lot of it.
Where'd you learn it?
Under father's supervision, and we're studying books. After knowing some and how and that, and then when you read it, yeah, that helps. But if you don't do nothing, then read your book, well, what do you mean by that? Where you start? And then he had his books that could study his books, his medical books.
Was your father a doctor?
Sure, he was. He studied that in the old country.
Where at?
In the old country,
What?
Russia.
Oh, did he study in Moscow or where?
No, he just felt national in his work, you know, where he ever was stationed. Hauptstadt and he's been at so many places, I don't know. On the Don, on the big river, Don, and talk about, yeah, I know that, you know. I don't remember it, but I mean, I know the names.
Yeah.
And then the Black Sea, they talk about that quite much. And yeah, that was a very tale, and they just believed. So many, that's why it was organized more. And Krim, that is again where another bunch of our Germans, Krim come from, the KMB over there. That was a good culture. Good country. Well, that's the reason a lot of them went out that time, but a lot of them didn't. They come out and stopped at Newton. Not Newton. Not Newton. Oh, from Hillsborough down just a little bit. The government gave the railroad a certain strip of land. If you build a railroad through here, the first railroad went to El Reno. Later, it went to Rock Island, went to over the other way.
Yeah.
And you see that way here by Weatherford. They came to Weatherford, and the Santa Fe came by Clinton, and there they had a little trouble about crossing. So I think the Rock Island went through underneath now. Around after the Santa Fe comes through the first depot, and the other about a mile down. And Clinton even had a car, railroad car, going through there. Depot from this depot to that depot. Hauling people. Yeah, I remember that. That was World War One. That happened. Yeah. And, well, there they were. They had to do, yeah, live with that all day. And eat on the first. That's right. If I could just clean up better, but I mean, I can get to the floor sitting. I've got to be very careful. I'll go down or get on my knees around the floor or throw it up on the floor and then I get on there. And then I work on my knees. But I can't stoop.
Yeah.
See? Yet it was this way. He showed me the x-ray this way. I said, what does that mean, that man? But this leg had been pulled out, broke and then pulled out. That's right. Then he had to cut in a 10-inch slice in here. And then to get them bones back in here this way again. And 6 pins they run through here. Four pins. And one of them across the bar across here with screws on each end to hold it all together. Well, he told me, you know, he knew that I was doing that work, you see. And old bones don't grow together quite as quick. Well, I know. And he told our son-in-law, Hebert, he said, man, at that man's age, as good a bones as he had. All of it just melted out. Most of them older. Here, you know how them bones, they couldn't put them together, and they grew together. Of course, I got to be good. If I can't get this knee over here, I can do somebody, see? First.
What do you do different?
Huh?
What do you do different than chiropractors do today? I heard you're better than most of the doctors today.
Farm, and I raised my out of a farm.
No, but
raised
I was
my-
talking to Ted Schmidt, and he said that you're better than most doctors today.
Just here in town.
Yeah. What do you do different?
Well, I don't know. Some of them are good here, some there. But some of them don't know massaging. That chiropractor is good. But you mostly bounce around. Well, this one I didn't have reason to go. I wouldn't do. Massage. No, but I sat there in the evening and massage that leg as good as I can for it. And that's what I do with others for nerves. From the neck or down to your feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, right at the ball here, right here, there's more nerves for your eyes than your fingers. You don't know what that's here. Way down from there, down. And then the work there. Huh. Some of them here knew about it because the lady quit working here. She did a lot on it. And I does now myself. It helps my eyes out. That's the reason I can't, small print I can't read.
Yeah.
But it's happened since I'm in here. See, I fall on my back, hurt my neck, hurt too much. And nobody to fix it. My brothers are all gone. They knew how to do it. Right, especially you. When he was strong, he weighed 210 or 20 pounds. I never weighed it. 182, the heaviest I ever been.
Mm-hmm.
But I had power. I had power. And I had busted bronchs. Well, that was that way that just about every horse that had hair on the back had to be ridden, broke. And I did. I never busted over them. I just clenched my legs. And I got that power in my legs. I'll tell you, cultivating corn, we had walking cultivators and had a lot of corn. I walked 8 to 10 miles in a half a day. So I had walking cultivator. Well, that makes muscles on your legs. And one year I had a plan for Dad. First we laid out 70 acres for spring crop for corn. And then the bugs got in us so bad, green bugs. There wasn't so much wheat, well, we make wheat. So we said, go ahead and plant those little acres. I added another 50 acres to it. 125 acres of corn in one field. I worked that. I did. Because then my brother came home from Kansas from school, and we cultivated. Well, I'll tell you something. Well, I done this, but I did not use medical. Now there is a very important thing. Medicine. That my father was all medical too. About bones. And how he instructed us. When done that, so said, mostly it was liquid that day. So many drops, only so many drops. I don't want to give mother had that crazy headache, what you call it.
Migraine?
Yeah. 2-3 days. Papa left sometimes and says, he always got medicine and you give her so many drops. And that sometimes would happen that I just didn't pour it out. Yeah, and then years later, not too many years ago, the grandchildren was there and their children were home. And so we showed, I told them what to do. And I took the bottle, just a water bottle, alcohol bottle, water in it, spoon, and I showed them and I dropped. Mine, I didn't think a grandpa could hold that one steady.
Do you still make medicines?
Huh?
Do you still make medicines today?
No, but I mean, I training,
Right.
just that many drops or no more if it's more by out. No, well, there is, I tell you. There's so much, good Lord put so much in medicine and vegetables.
What were some of the main plants you used to make medicines with?
Rhubarb is one for laxative. Horseradish was good for my diabetics, but of course we didn't have much diabetics before. In the later years, she got so much fertilizer. And I went to see medical doctors now. And I said, that's the fertilizer, that's poison. I said, that takes the good part out of that, and that poison stays in there, goes in the plant, and that's what we use. He didn't want to listen, but he says, you're right in that.
How do you use rhubarb? How did you make medicine out of rhubarb?
Oh, they just cook it. I mean, they ate rhubarb one way or the other.
Oh, okay.
But they did not squeeze any medicine out of it. But then I had a garden, big garden there. And I brought them in every once in a while for vegetables. But I used no fertilizer. Oh, that's barn garden from the farm. And I said, there. And finally, and she told me, his wife too, he said, we sure appreciate these, what we got from, we got that from you. The farm. And they took that. And listen, alfalfa tabs, that's what we have found. Whether it would be good for everybody, I don't know.
Alfalfa?
Alfalfa tabs called. Here's some of these, I guess they did, but they've got, there's a Schmidt, just a mile north of here. Yes, she sells some of these. Mrs. Berkman, she sells that product. Well, when I'm Zilke, that fellow, my name is Zilke here. He came in here from Missouri, and my wife was a heavy diabetic. And she was now in those days you could hardly eat bread or potatoes. Up come the sugar, and the blood pressure. And the poor woman would sit there on the table, and I eat, and you could only eat just a little bit. All right. So he said, now you take these tablets, and if they don't do you any good, he said, you don't owe me nothing. Alfalfa tablets. Well, by George, she did but the 10, 12 a day. But there's an automatical end there. He said, alfalfa, and I know, I raised alfalfa many years, and I even got my last certificate on pure seed, too, on the farm. All right. See, I had alfalfa 2-3 years in one field, and then changed it over to wheat, and I had another field that I already sow a year ahead, and that way I build up my land. And as this flower starts, there's the most in there, in strength. And then, of course, the next one and the next one, less. When you ripen the seed, it's more just hay. And that's it, you know. Well, I didn't make anything like that, but I know how they make it, you know, what they make it. Mm-hmm. All right. And she took that and used them for a while. They don't just swallow one thing every day, all right. It has to go through your system first. Some people don't think about that. It has to go into your system, into your blood. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, she could eat one inmate, and she could eat a piece of pie. Oh, there's no question. She couldn't eat nothing like that, or a cake. And even with a little frosting on it, not much, you know, careful, afterward. And she looks much better, too, filled up. Ha! So we was checking up with the medical there, and because I don't handle the medicines. And it's so strong nowadays, you got to be careful. All right? So she just saw a medical doctor. Medical doctor. He said what she was doing. Boy, he snapped, and he knocked her over on the floor. He said, alfalfa for cattle. Just like that. He just stood there and looked and gazed at me. I said, just eat that, it's all right. And all right. And she did that. But that's the way some of ours had to be all just what they prescribe. It's what they have. But my goodness, that's made out of it. It's another company making this. There's other different kinds of good medicine. But what I want to say, now, some of them, carrots. These good medical, if you know how to prepare them. Even in the early days, I know they took watermelons, the seeds, boiled them down, not too much, and give them that water for kidney trouble, too. And this is also for kidneys. And well, we don't do it here. We just go get their drug and be done with it. But what I was trying to say, what God all put into that, what do they, well, that's what all that's used. Watch out.
What are some of the other medicines? You said you boil watermelon seeds, alfalfa tablets, what else?
They use this, but that's what they use in making this.
Yeah.
I read books on it. But otherwise, I don't know. I never made any. No, we didn't bother. You read up on it and you what I wish to take. And they have those agencies selling these products. Of course, some of them won't attack everybody else the same, you know. I know wife just told one woman here, very diabetic. And that didn't do me any good. I was just a few days between there. My good grief, then she expected to be hit her that hard? No. It has to go through your system and give it time. Yeah, and that's just like somebody in Kansas. He was diabetic. And they were prayer. Now prayer is seriously too. They pray for healing. And that's they have faith that it does. I know, I did too. And I did even turn that preacher down. Oh, but he quit the medicine. Oh, really? Oh, everything's right down. Well, I don't think he should have done that. Good Lord can do that all immediately. Yeah, he did it so many when Christ did when he walked. He said, come on out of there. And he touched him or just said so. Everything was healed. And, well, some needed for laxative and some others. And we like rhubarb because, would you know anything what a person can do to keep it from dying? Usually 2 days. 2 years, I mean. It just died to the death. And I had some, and I bought new plants. Planted them quite a distance away.
What kind of plants?
Rhubarb.
Yeah, rhubarb.
Yeah. And they grew fine 1 year, and the next year just as fine. I just, after cutting them, I see, what's here? Died to the root. What? I haven't been told. I asked some of them, they didn't know. Thought it was bugs. And I put all these mud balls around them in a distance, in a distance around them, about 6 inches deep, so the bugs would get in contact with that. Didn't do no good. Now that's one I don't know. And we like the rhubarb so much. Pie or most. You know how to cook that? Oh yeah, well they'll put all together. It tastes good. I have horseradish there too, but I don't know how to fix it. I know I could get it that far until the mixture comes to it. I did take it out and rub it, and both. But what they add to it, there's a little sugar they put in there, and some vinegar. But how much of each? That's what counts.
For the medicine?
No, just to eat.
Oh, just to eat. Okay.
Eat.
Yeah.
No, that's what. And it's they make it in that takes over what we could do here in pill form for diabetics. And garlic, wonderful with that garlic. Oh, it should smell the stink. But you make it all this food for diabetics. Yeah, garlic pills. See what God has put in. That's have to make it. You can buy it for some people to handle that. Not on the market. You don't get it on the market, but on their hand. You have some round corn there. Laxative. That's what I use. Well, boy, you have a lot of wisdom there.
Well, I've enjoyed this.
We can, what I want to say, I had 82 head of cattle. Father and his brother, colts, saving 7 days a week, rain or shine. But one day, I didn't know how they freeze to death, but one day, it was just very close. And a boy sitting there holding the reins, and there's a draw there, that house down. And at the time with horse plow, we could, all these sinkholes or something like that, close them up. Anyway, there was a bank on the north side. There's a hole, there's no kind of water coming from in there. It was so cold, so bitter cold. Well, I had a sheepskin on, knee length, pretty good. Field boots, you know what a field boot is? all right, with rubber overshoes, gloves, caps, and so on. And it would start snowing, more, blowing, oh, it was blowing. So I went over there and I told him from that house, that way, the big flat land where I could see a distance. And then I sat down there on the bank, holding the horse reins that way. And the horse stood this way. That way it blowing. Would it face the wind. And it was a good tough horse. And I could watch the cattle. And, oh, when I got sleepy. Oh, I got so sleepy. And that kind of weather, getting sleepy there. I didn't know what was wrong. Then at once it started scattering. And the snow, snowing heavier. Big flakes. Well, I said, my, if they get all scattered out, then I have to count for them that everyone is in the pasture for a night. So I thought, I can't find them, but it's so much, I have to keep them in a smaller circle, round them up, you know. And I did get back on my horse. And I was no plug getting on a horse, I didn't tell you that much. Saddle. And I worked, I don't know how long I worked. I couldn't get on the horse. I was just that stiff already. So I thought I was so sleepy, and I said, would have just slept. I just would have found a boy holding the reins. Well, finally I got on the horse. I never got off no more. Till time was I just turned with the wind, so that's it. And then one time, I had a certain time, I could drive me.
Yeah.
Told me, then there's the water, running water, canyons are shut out, and wind breaks. Yeah. Then I rode home, another mile. I reached from the fence about a mile and a half. Then I done my evening chores at home, milking like that. Doing that, I went in for supper. Mother had supper ready with that time. And I took my overshoes off. And absolutely on my foot was just all frost on my fingers. So you know it was no hot weather. Later I found out with other people what they'd been doing in North Dakota. These Berkmans up, kinfolks there, and they went over to visit. And they went to town in a sled, and once the men got so sleepy, our people, from here, said, oh, you better get out and walk. And fellow with us said, driver, all right, you got to walk. And when you put it to the sled, want to get in. No, he drove up again. Wouldn't let him in. Well, you really did him good work out. And later they found out. Said, well, you shouldn't freeze to death on it.
That's right.
Well, just like me there, I didn't know anything of that by getting sleepy there in such a weather. Yeah, and I worked.
What year was that?
I don't know exactly, but it was in the later years we lived in under. It must be between 1900 and 1905, somewhere there.
Mm-hmm.
Because Brother John sold out and went to Michigan. After 1905, he left, see, and that was before that. Oh boy, oh boy. And then riding these wild horses, very good. Oh, we raised those two. But one day, well, Dad had good horses, some of them. You broke them for that. You point out one of them that you wanted. But you went out a bunch. And you hang them to that deer saddle. The rest of it a horse done. And boy, it was just thawing. It was winter. And it was snowing by the barn at Manure Pump. The barn on that frost ground. And that heifer made this a short turn. And the horse the same, just like that. All 4 feet went out under his, from under him, and laid flat, right on the side. And his foot was in steel stirrups. That was my luck. And that was just smashed together, not plumb, but it smashed in. And then my knee was under his ribs, though. That still gives me some trouble if I want to take and pick something, push something. I don't know what, it don't bother. Father fixed it, he said it. He was good at it. My brother Fred, that was 37 years ago, he said my neck was all broke to pieces. I was thrown out of a trailer, 20 feet through the air on the ground. And they picked me up for more than I was dead. Well, with God's help, he done the work, see. Another good doctor, Cordell. Oh, these bones are broke through here. Yeah, nose bone. And, all right, here I am. The Lord had some more work for me, why? Now I'm willing to do it. But I couldn't understand that this had to happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just by the end, just like that going out. And I come down, the legs stripped out like that. Done. What's it that?
Hmm?
What is he making a record for?
Oh, for the museum.
Huh?
For the museum.
This?
Yeah.
What is a museum?
Oh, in Oklahoma City, State Archive. Joe Todd. Historical Society, rather, not State Archives. Well,
You got a family?
yes, sir.
Listen,
What's that?
family,
Mm-hmm.
reunion with a family. But that has to be with Christ.
Yep.
With Christ. And the Lord give us little better than 65 years. Yeah.
How long's the El Reno Trail?
It was about 65 miles for us. And now they're driving about 40 miles.
How long did it take to get to El Reno?
Usually 2 days, 2 full days. You loaded the wheat? The head end you can load. Say this afternoon. Everything in the lunchbox fixed, the feed fixed, grain for the horses. And then the next morning when the day dawned in the east, already leaving home from this place over here. And we got to the Cop Creek for 2.5 or 3 miles. It was daylight. And I got that pathway go down there and water the horses in and get some fresh water there. And then trails where you had to know where there's no quicksand underneath. Gravel, that's where you found the cross and cross that way, and then come around and another slough goes out. Wanted to kind of work down so we could drive out and then go on again. And the 5 mile, what they call the 5 mile, and then there's Devil's Canyon over here. That's terrible. And then there are robbers on the road. We wasn't bothered. But right over here on this farm here, now I don't know, did they load up for to go to El Reno, or were they just going to work over a section that we lived here, we lived on the lease? 3 men came right down the yard, just loading up the wagon by the door, and it said, say, they wanted to trade horses. And the boys told Dad what they wanted. Tell them I'm not trading horses. And then went loading upstairs. So he told them, I don't want to trade horses. And but then 2 of them rode off a piece, stood there on their horses. And those dogs, they were just like they were crazy after them. People want to bite them in the feet. Bite him, bite him, bite him. Not the horse, but the men on the horse. And then one of them stayed here by the door, by the wagon. And we just kept on putting stuff on for going and having those dudes for weeks. Food along too. Oh, we came cooked outside what we had. That's all we could do. And the campfire. Spring was there. Water. And then Dad went in. I was right there. I saw all that. Now we're getting a little shivery too. I was just a little boy. That campfire wouldn't leave, and another two over there. He went in and got his Winchester. Got it 38-40, 12 shot. And he just come out of there, out of the dugout, kitchen, laid it on the seat. Never looked up. He just laid it on the seat, on the wagon seat, that's the go. And he went after something else. And you ought to see that fellow turn around and leave. The first one here, and then go over there, and they all left. Later we heard that old man, Papa Beard, he chased them away with a gun. No, they never chased them away, but maybe they got that respect. He would act too sassy, why maybe he would get in trouble. He didn't want to hurt anybody, but he wouldn't let them run over him either. So they left. Oh, there was so much horse stealing. Straight through here, somewhere to the river, there was a nest. And I don't know exactly what, but it was about straight through the river. They were kindled. Also, the post office was robbed here one time. Fellow was hunting. There's a creek that just on the place. Not going for 12, walking quiet, you know. And once he heard, he's letting his horses graze, and they'd eating lunch there. And they just said this: well, if we don't get him tonight, we'll get him some other night. See, that's when you can do languages. You understood, but Luther. What's going on? He just quietly turned right around and went home, but not knowing really what happened. When he was through here at lunch, he rode up to about half a mile and went in. Anybody else here? Well, it's a girl in the kitchen there, working. Tell him come out here. Come out. Everybody else? Say, all right, line up. That was just a bank room. And I went there. Post office over there. They robbed all they wanted. Got all of them. Yes. One of those Dutchmen was here too, out there. But he's dead, Paul's. And lined them up. And got on their horses. Pointed the revolvers, each one that way, and off they rode. Well, they're gone. At least there wasn't no one hurt. That's the good of it. And they, of course, they reported that all. They recognized the fellow pretty well. Then later, I don't know how long it took, but it says years or very likely did, to crack these fellows, and they couldn't catch these two. They just couldn't catch them. They was very good shots and shooters. So those two others, and they must have worked with these two together. They was put in jail. They was in jail or somewhere. I think they made an offer. If you give us freedom, we'll get those people. Acquainted, in that bunch. They must pretend like they broke out, and they joined up again with them. No, good. But these two had to be quiet, secret. So there was over there in northern Oklahoma, somewhere. He went right for banks, I heard. Brother told me about John. And so it was warm weather, so they camped outside. Well, slept last night. And then in the morning, Abraham cooked their coffee and breakfast, whatever they had. And they already had this talked up. Said they set category just like you and I sat here. So we don't shoot it yet, so we shoot. You shoot this one and I shoot that one. And then this one of them says, you take that one, you take it. He says, now I'll drink some coffee and spill that on me, hot coffee. And I'll say certain cuss words. He says, oh. And I'll just like I grab from a handkerchief, I could pour the coffee on myself. And while I grab I just pull my gun like that. And you shoot the other one. I just saw he wasn't quick enough. He didn't shoot him, and he shot him too. And but didn't quite kill one of them. And then the other, he shot at these, but they run, didn't kill these other boys. Then later, everybody got them in, and then these here, which were held up over here, they had to come over where they was, identify was those are the men that they knew it, I saw them. The witnesses, you know. She said they got the men. Then these two could be released. They made a deal with them because they law the silver could not get them trouble. So good a shot. Like a man told me when he was working in the shop and roads. He knew about the history of Jesse James. Why, he says, he came in the store, it wasn't the bank, probably in the bank, more money. And he says, give me $1,000. And no, you're going to do that. No, you want money. He says, I bet I can shoot a button off your, oh, was it the vest or coat? But I think it's the vest, even, it's closer to it. Without engine in the thing. Oh, no. He bet him $1,000 on that. And he couldn't shoot a button off of the vest without entering anything. And he just pulled his gun and shot two of them off. Not only one, to show him. He said, hand me that money. He wouldn't do it. He gave him the other bullet. Well, he got the money. That good a shot they were. And still they done some good. He told me there was a widow, she was about to lose the land, her home. Fella wanted to take that away from her. It's due, and she couldn't pay for it. I think $1,000 on that. Couldn't pay it. Just couldn't. These boys heard about it. I don't know whether this, no, it must have been a different case. We went to a rich man there, and sold $1,000. Sold $1,000 from him, made him give it. And probably earlier about it, anyway. And they went and give it to this widow woman. Now we'll pay your debt. You did not let this woman to lose her home. Oh, she won't. Well, there's again, she's a good deal you got.
Yeah.
But again, when it comes to tip over the little shots.
When you went to El Reno on the El Reno Trail, where would you spend the night?
Right in the open.
You have a certain place that you camped out each time, or?
No, just come as far as we get. I usually get a little side already way on the stakes, you know, as I said, you know, camping place, you know. That's where we stopped, drive out the side open. There was no fences there. Well, that's where we done cooked. And if we had anybody cooked, coffee especially, was usually when we come out, you know, we had some of that sausage, you know, homemade. So, not homemade, but I mean sausage made And eat that, or sardines. Oh, by the way, sardines, 6 for a quarter, 6 boxes for a quarter. And I'm not blowing. It's the truth. Nickel a piece, or 6 for a quarter.
How many in a box?
Huh?
How many sardines in a box?
Young man, he just looked so baffled at me. And his father says, he said, I sure do. Father said, oh, now I had it for one time I bought them a little better than $1 a box here.
Where would you trade in El Reno?
Oh, I don't know. I was just a little fellow.
Yeah.
Stores there. Usually if we could get there. Now, like I said, now we got to a creek. Down, up. And just only cut through for one wagon, team to go through. And, we got the 3 loads of wheat. And Brother John had his strung out this way, in the breast. We stopped there, and we discussed it, little Father John. He said, but that'd take us too long to take them horses off because that'd break off everything off. We couldn't have that on. But the other things, and the fellow staying waiting already there, on his old gray walking plow, took 10 cents a load to go through his land around that bad place there. Well, they decided they had to drive to get to town in time. All right, they drove around, gave me each one time, and just drive through there. I drove to El Reno and got there before sundown. I got unloaded. And then we drove up the feed yard. You had, a place where you could drive in. Had rain before this and more much that there. So Henry and I stayed with those 8 horses. And Bob and John went out to see where they could make good deals, better deals to buy. We wanted to load lumber from the house up there. And lo and behold, if a fellow comes there, he just wasn't bad dressed. Derby on? You want to sleep with us in the wagon there? Well, no, he says, we were 4 of us, and he said, well, he said, you're going to sleep under the wagon. Yeah, it's just so, like humanity, was he said. And I finally, then he just suddenly told him I was down there. And he turned and went. Oh, yes, he was this young kid. Well, tell us to go lay under the wagon. The mud. You want to lay in the wagon. Then we came and we got their supper. What did we get? Oh, crackers with nickel a box. And a box of sardines. Oh, over here in Weatherford. Oh, and we had horses in the wagon. We ate dinner there, if I had a feed on for the horses. Of course, if I arranged to haul off a number of loads of wheat, I just load it early and so on, and I'll make 2 loads a day. It was about 6 miles. 2 loads a day. And that was, of course, I could change teams every day, I changed teams every day. That way. And nickel a box. What is the time?
3.
And nickel a box for crackers. For sardines. And there's the barrel of vinegar stored in the back of the store. Oh, no, just little vinegar on that. Oh, that was really
Mm-hmm. Well,
all right. I want to detain. That's a big word, detain. What, you're doing anything else with this?
no,
Huh?
no. Go ahead, Harvard.
He's the state senator, I think. He's a Democrat. He came here for soliciting or whatever else. She's a nice little woman. He brought her along from Germany. She's German. And he told his points, what he's figuring to do. All right, so I consider. Several times he renewed, I voted for that man. a general election. Why? He tries to work for us, for this people here in the vicinity, and for the farmers. And they need the help so much. And that's why I want to put out my Republican. But the man that'll help the needy people.
Yeah. Tell me about harvest time.
Oh. Oh. Well, all right. Will that go in there?
Yeah.
Well, earlier we sowed some up by hand. Sowed by hand, scattered around. And I had to walk to keep the line as far as the wheat had fallen. And of course I stumbled down some under them holes, but I got up again and wept. All right, and then this harvest came on, and that is found as most at that time was on. But the ladies, they got the headers in there too. But the binders was the bundles, and they were stacked usually in the early days, and then threshed. Hand feeding, and a man on each side, or a boy, who could handle a knife well. Of course, they was made out of fork handle, split, and more section put in, cut more. These little sickle sections, so they wouldn't cut your hand if you hit it blank on the bottom. But you cut with the bundle, cut the bundle and push it over to him. Cut the bundle and push it over, and he then put it in there. And then one fellow on the straw stack. I done myself a sort of off the stack of that straw stack. I even did it behind the blower. It's quite windy out there. Anyway, on a horsepower, we could stay with that. More circle, you know, there is a horsepower working. And it's just dry. And then that dust, the cloud dust come up. So they just got the straw from the straw stack. It's got it really heavy under the feet there, so the horses wouldn't choke on that. All right, and for the grain box, we have it running into a wagon now. All right, they had a box sitting on a ground under the elevator, and then run in half a bushel. And then you took the end gate, the top end gate out of the wagon, so they could get that rigging easier. And every half bushel, we give it 1 notch. See, like that. Just like the gas counters later, you know, had a can full. I forgot. All right, the counters are right, and that put in, and that counts that. And last they put the end gate in and filled up the wagon completely. And that kept the record. See, on this box, you keep the record. That was a good way of doing it, huh? And I cut bands too, but I had the advantage. I had the right hand. So I could cut from the outside over to cut his hand. You know. My son-in-law is Betty. I cut while he was feeding there. And then sometimes the silver teeth would come. We'd jump out of the way. We didn't want them things in our face. All right, then. And then, of course, it was unloaded in the granary and so on and so forth. And the straw stacks was fixed up a little more, turned water. And that was the good old days. And they, of course, they feed the horses. We fed the horses there all day. And slept by the straw stack or in the yard somewhere.
How many people on the harvest crew?
How much would there be? There was the two at a separator, one on the horsepower driving the horses, and that hand feeding. Well, of course, there was two feeders. They changed it, but it was too hard. There'd be 4 men there with the horse. Cutting bands and that. No, we had that 1 or 2 on the straw stack. Mostly one of them was a good man, but for one of them I brought myself and done a fairly good job. And, well, let's see, how many would that be? 2 at the grain, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8, something like that. And then, of course, the home, the owner, of the wheat, Just the whole hoe.
How many acres could you thrash in a day?
Oh, acres, I don't know this. Just how many acres.
Yeah.
Most at that time, it was stacked.
Yeah.
It was stacked, you know. Later, then they came in with a thrasher crew with the wagons and haul it through the machine.
Mhm.
And even they had my brother, John, even had the cook shack along. They fed him too. Oh, that was a crew. I mean, maybe.
What did you do with the harvest crew?
Huh?
What did you do? What job did you have with the harvest crew?
Mostly haul the wheat away.
Haul the wheat away? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.